So far, what we have done is we have onboarded a VH and a CH. Then we did some configuration on that, although most of the configuration should be done through templates, but this is something that is possible in case you want to make some changes to your network through the CLI. As soon as you apply a template to your device, you are not going to be able to use CLI to make any configuration. So be very careful about that. But if you remove all the templates from a device, then that device is going to be controlled through CLI again. Okay, so what we are going to do here is we are going to apply a template to the devices. And I'm going to do Viptela VH first of all. And for that, I need to know what the configuration is currently on this device, because I'm not going to disrupt the current configuration of the device. So I need to make sure that I create a template that kind of covers all the necessary configuration of this. And if possible, all the configuration, of course. So let's go to VH device here. This is a VH device, and I'm going to log in. It says system is ready, so the login should be successful. And I'm going to say show run. And then I'm going to receive all the running configuration of the device. And I'm going to start doing creating the templates step by step for every piece of information that I have on here. So first of all, you should see that some of the information, for example, host name, system IP, site ID, and maybe some other information in here, these are device specific. So I do not have multiple devices with the same host name or system IP. So when you configure this, you need to make sure that these are device-specific configuration. Going down, again, we have some more configuration, which is important. For example, NTP. You can see that NTP has a value which is shared between all the devices. Throughout my network, all of the devices are using this NTP. So this one is a global configuration. A global configuration means that this is going to be applied to every device that receives this template. But device-specific configuration is related to just one device only. When you do the configuration of a template, you just specify which one of the configurations are device-specific, which one is global. Going down, you can see that we have OMP configuration. This is all default. And some of the default configuration, of course, do not really appear in the configuration. You saw that, for example, OMP redistributes OSPF, not external OSPF, of course, just inter-area or internal routes are going to be imported into OMP, and every other site is going to receive those information. And we have seen this in previous video. And then going down, of course, I can just add some more information. Going down, you can see that we have VPN 0. VPN 0 is shared between every device. DNS server is going to be part of this, shared between all devices. And also there is a default route for all devices under VPN 0. But again, you can see that this interface under VPN 0, we should really investigate to make sure that this is something that we can configure it as a global template or a device-specific template. In my topology, if you check that, you can see that almost every managed device that I have, except the CHs, of course, you can see that all of them are connected to the public internet using GE00. And okay, again, you can see that I have only one type of medium here. That's the public internet. But you can have MPLS, LT, or multiple MPLS networks, multiple public internet networks, multiple, let's say, other types of networks. So you can have a lot of different types of connections. Maybe you should say, okay, I just go with 2 connections. One for backup, one is going to be my main connection. That is possible. So, but what we are doing here, we are just using one public internet, and you can see that there is only one G00 on all of these devices connected to this VPN 0, which is going to be my transport network. And that is interesting because we are going to add this globally to all the devices that are going to receive the configuration. And under this configuration, what is very important is We made sure that DNS is allowed and also NTP is allowed, so we need to make sure that this is allowed for all the devices. Also, we have VPN1. This one could be created separately, and some of the devices under this template can receive this. And you can see that for VPN1, we have enabled OSPF, we have redistributed OMP, we have an area 0. Under area 0, we have an interface. So when we start creating this kind of a template, and you can see that there is an interface with an IP address, which is no shutdown. And also under VPN 512, you can see that we have VPN EAT0. And this one cannot be deleted as a matter of fact, so we need to make sure that when we configure VPN 512, we have this interface under that. So you see that there are different types of configuration that we need to add, and this is going to take pretty much a long time. So let's start with a template. So going to Cisco vManage, if I just go to configuration templates here, you can see that we have two types of templates. This is device template and this is feature template. A feature is a separate template, which is kind of a sub template for a device template. Under feature, we can configure lots of different things. For example, a routing protocol, an interface, a VPN, any feature that we want to have. But feature template is not applied to a device. A device template is going to receive multiple feature templates, and then a device template is going to be applied to the devices. Now, should you create feature templates first and then go to device templates? As a matter of fact, most likely you're going to create some feature templates, and then they are going to be applied to a device template. Using a device template is kind of a creating a template based on a wizard. So that would be a little easier. But whatever you create here, you're going to create multiple features, and all of them, of course, will appear under feature template. Anything that you create is going to be reusable, so don't worry about that. So let's start from a device template. So I'm going to go to create template, and I'm going to say from feature template. We can go with from CLI template. In the beginning, that would be easier because you can just copy the whole running configuration and put it under here and just change some of the information and make them as variable. So that would be easy. But from feature template is going to be what we are going to do. So I'm going to start with this. And here it says what type of device you are trying to create a feature for that, because different devices have some supported and unsupported features. I am using VH Cloud, so this is what I'm trying to select. But you can use ISR, for example, CSR, C8000. We are going to create templates for C8000V as well, and some other physical devices that are here could be selected. Also, you can create a template for vSmart. We are going to create this, but from CLI as a matter of fact, and for vManage. So I'm going to select VH Cloud, and the device role is WAN Edge. The template is going to be, let's say, WAN Edge General Template. And the description is going to be WAN Edge General Template. You need to fill in this description as a matter of fact. You have to. And then you can just click on create, and this template is going to be created for you. But you can see that there is some information that we need to have. For example, under system, you have factory default VH system template. You can create a template for this. And I'm going to see whether this is going to be enough or not. Otherwise, I'm going to create a template for that. Let's start with creation of a template, because everything should be selected for us. So here I'm going to say, instead of default manage, I'm going to say VH, let's say underline LX template, and here it's going to be VH LX template. Okay, so the basic configuration, site ID is device specific. So I'm going to make sure that this is device specific, and you can see that in front of that it says system site ID. This means that this is just a name. So whenever you see this message, you know that you need to enter a site ID into the variable field. But you can change it. For example, I do not really like it. I'm going to change it to something else. So what I need to do is to go to here, just delete this, and then specify whatever you want to have. This is okay. System IP is device specific. You can see that. That's okay. Overlay ID, you can have multiple overlays. Time zone, host name is the system host name, whatever it is, the host name is going to be selected. You can enter location, device group. These are very general information that I'm not going to enter here. For latitude, longitude, in case you are putting this device in a specific place and you want to have a map of that, you can just go with this. If you want to have a tracker, and under advanced, of course, what you need to have, let's say what I have here. Is there anything that I really want to have under this? Not really, but I prefer to have this for myself. So I'm going to save it. It says fill in the required fields. So what is the required field that I have not filled in? Here it is. The console baud rate. I'm going to say something like 9600. Is there anything else that I have missed? No. So I'm going to click on save, and this is going to be created for me. What about login? Do I want to have anything? No. On the right, there are some additional system templates that I can use. Specifically, I'm going to have NTP here. So I'm going to click on this plus sign, and an NTP configuration is going to be added. So on the list, you can see that there is no NTP created. So I am going to create a template. Anytime you create a template, you are actually creating a feature template. So that's going to appear under features as well, and later you can use it. So I'm going to select create template. Here is my NTP, let's say NTP server. I'm going to say NTP server under this. The server, I'm going to add a new server, and you can go with a host name or IP address. I can just add a IP address, and you can see that the configuration is global. This means that any device that is receiving this template is going to apply this on it. We do not need to enter information for each device separately. And mine was ntp.alex.org. And with this, you should know that we need to have a DNS configured, otherwise this is not going to be usable. We did it on the console, but we are going to make sure that the template, of course, contains such an information. Do I have any authentication key? Not. As a matter of fact, what is a VPN? And all of the devices are receiving this information from VPN 0. So I just select globally and VPN 0. The rest, of course, are not so important. Let's go down, and I need to click on this add so that I have this in my list. Now, if I just go down again, is there any authentication key created? No, I'm not using anything. So I'm going to click on save, and this is going to take me back to the device template. And now I have an NTP added to the basic information. So let's go down and see what else we have here. So we have OMP. Do I have any specific configuration under OMP? If I just check this, under OMP, everything is the default configuration. So I'm not going to need any specific configuration. But if I need it, I could just go to here, and instead of the factory default configuration, I could create my own configuration. So I'm going to go to create template, and here you can see that under the default configuration, again, connected and static is selected. So I do not really need to do anything. This is by default selected, so I'm going to cancel this out. Also, if you want to make sure that this contains those entries, or you want to change it, you can just go to here, select this, click on view template, And then you can just check to see what, you cannot really make any changes here, but you can just see that, for example, this is security template actually, not OMP. OMP is this one, view template. And you can see that connected and static is by default imported. So that is going to do, I don't really need to do anything else with that. And if I just go down, now I get to VPN 0. Going back to my configuration, VPN 0 contains some information, for example, DNS configuration. And I need to make sure that there is a DNS configuration added to this. Also, there is a default route, which I'm going to add to the VPN 0. Here, what I need to have is a VPN interface. So, first of all, I go to VPN 0 configuration to make sure that those configurations are going to be added. I'm going to create a new one, so I'm going to click on Create Template. And I'm going to say the basic configuration, which is on top. That is my DNS, VPN 0 config, or you can just say Alex config, because just want to make sure that VPN 0, this is specific to my configuration, because we can have multi-tenancy enabled. So the VPN is 0. I can have a name for that, or you can just set a name for that, just to make sure, of course. And going down, I have a DNS server. I'm going to globally change it. All of the devices are going to receive this 101. So do I have a secondary DNS? No, I don't. And let's go down and see what advertisement do we have. So do I have any advertisement into this? You can see that almost all of them are disabled. And I'm not going to make any changes because in my configuration, I do not have any kind of advertisement for VPN 0. I don't have any routing protocol in VPN 0. So I don't really need to change anything. Going back to here, and do I have an IPv4 route? As a matter of fact, I do. You can see that there is a static route 0000 that goes to 101.2.254. So I'm going to create that. So the prefix is 0000/0, and I need to add an X hub because in my configuration there is an X hub. I can just select null 0 in case I want to discard everything to this route. I can use a specific VPN, or I can go with the HTTP options. But I'm going to click on this add next hub, and that would be 101.2.254. Is it correct? Yes. And do I want to add another distance, or I want to add a tracker? No. If I want to have another next hub, I can just click on this icon. But I'm going to click on add, and one next hub is added, and I need to click on this add to make sure that this route is added. And going down, I don't have any IPv6 route. And what about the services? Okay, so you can see that under this, I have allowed NTP, and also I have made sure that DNS is allowed. So in case you want to make sure that this kind of a service is allowed, you can just click on this new service. The service type is, for example, forward, IDP. No, these are of course service insertion. So we do not really have any firewall like the first one, or intrusion detection system service, or intrusion detection prevention, something like that. We do not really have this. So I'm not going to have any service insertion, so I'm going to cancel this out. I'm going to show you service insertion later. But right now we don't have anything. So do I have any service route? In case you have, you can just select service type and just go with that. I don't have it. Do I have any GRE route? No. IPsec route? No. NAT is enabled or not. Global route link in case you are linking some routes. And that's almost everything that I needed to have. So I'm going to just click on save. Now I have my let's say DNS under VPN 0, and I have my NTP, of course, configured for that. Now, do I have any routing protocol? No. So I need to specify an interface. The interface is GE00, and I have this on almost all devices in my network. So I'm going to add this VPN interface, and you can see that for now there is no interface added. I need to create a template for the interface. So let's go to basic information, and I'm going to say this is interface. Let's say interface underline GE underline 0 underline 0. So I'm going to say interface GE0/0. Okay, the basic information, I'm going to no-shot it. So all of the devices, of course, should have it as no-shot. So I'm going to say shutdown, no. What is the interface name? That is GE0/0. Do I have a description for that? Let's have a description for that. I'm going to say transport, or let's say WAN side interface. WAN side interface. Okay, so I have this interface. The IP address is going to be static, and you can see that I am selecting the device specific IP address because each device is going to be different. And because the name is not so explanatory, I'm going to select a better name. So I'm going to say WAN side interface IPv4 address, because this is going to be IPv4 address, and that's going to be the name. So whenever I want to enter information, I can see this message and I will understand what I need to add. Do I want to have a secondary IP address? No. Is it going to be a DHCP helper? No. Going down, do I need to have a tunnel interface? Let me see. So you can see that yes, there is a tunnel interface here, and the encapsulation is going to be IPsec. So I'm going to enable this. So the tunnel is globally on, and the color, all of them are using, what is the color? I can just configure color as busy internet, for example. All of them are using busy internet in my case, for example. So let's configure that. So the color is busy internet. Is there any restriction, group, border, anything? No, I don't have it. Is there any encapsulation configured in this? So I guess the tunnel is going to use IPsec by default. There is nothing here to specify that I need to have IPsec. So what are the services? I have DNS allowed, so I need to go. This says that by default DNS is allowed, so that's okay. I can just make sure that globally this is allowed, but default says allowed, so that's no problem. But I'm going to just make sure that this is allowed. Also NTP, I'm going to say all the devices are going to have it on. What else? What is the other service which is necessary for me? For now, NTP and DNS are going to be important, but the rest of the services for now I'm not using, for example, DHCP or stuff like that. Okay, so going back to here, and there are some advanced options which I'm going to open. And for advanced option, here it is. IPsec is by default on. So the encapsulation is by default IPsec, so I'm not going to change it. Or you can just make it globally configured. That's okay. And is there any specific thing about IPsec? I don't have any configuration about IPsec, so I'm not going to do anything about that. So that's it. Something that you should know is as soon as you apply this template, In case this template causes any interruption in the connection between the WAN edge and vBond, what is going to happen is the device is not going to be able to contact vManager, vBond, or vSmart. After 5 minutes, all the configuration of this template is going to be rolled back so that the connection is going to be restored again, and then you can just start fixing the configuration errors that you had in there. So don't worry about that. This is not going to disconnect you forever. So, but 5 minutes, of course, is going to be a lot. I don't have ARP, I don't have .1X authentication. I don't want to configure any interface specific configuration because I don't have it. And I'm just going to click on save. So you see that almost every piece of configuration is done here. Okay, so let's go down. I had my VPN interface configuration right now. Do I need to have any other specific here? I guess no. So VPN 512. If I go to my configuration, I can see that VPN 512 has interface Ethernet 0 under that. I'm going to configure it because although I'm not using it, I need to have an interface assigned to VPN 512. Otherwise, I have to delete this and I don't really want to. So going back to here under VPN 512, I'm going to create a template for that. And I'm going to call it management interface. This is not interface, of course, VPN. Management VPN, which is 512 as a matter of fact. Let's just have it as a name. So management VPN, and that's going to be 512. Okay, so under management VPN, in my case, of course, I don't have any specific configuration. This is going to be shut down because my topology does not have any management interface. But normally, you should add an interface for that. That interface is going to be connected to management VLAN, and then you can just contact the device through that. But in my case, of course, I'm not going to do anything about that. So just go back to here, and I just want to have a VPN. I can just have a name for that, and no DNS. Do I need to assign any interface here? So you see that I'm not configuring any DNS, any OMP configuration, any IPv4 route, IPv6 service route, IPv6, NAT, global, nothing. So I'm going to create this, and I'm going to assign an interface for this. So under management VPN, I'm going to say a VPN interface, and the VPN interface is going to be GE, what is this? 80. And I don't have it in the list up here, so I need to create for that. So I'm going to say interface ETH 0. Interface ETH 0. So the interface is going to be maybe shut down or maybe no shut. By default, this is shut down, and I'm going to keep it that way. The interface is ETH 0. That's it. No more configuration for that. No IPv4, no tunnel, no VRRP, nothing. Just save it. Okay, so ETH 0 is configured in here under VPN 512 and nothing more than that. Okay, let's go for service VPN. Okay, what service VPNs do we have in here? We have VPN 1. VPN 1 has interface GE01 under that. So let's configure VPN 1 in here. So I'm going to click on Add VPN. Here, I don't have any VPN configured for now. I'm going to click on Create VPN Template. And the basic configuration on the top of here, that's going to be VPN _1 And I'm going to, I can just say service VPN 1. This is a better name. Service VPN 1. So under service VPN 1, what kind of configuration do we have? The name of the VPN is 1. I can just have a name for that, but doesn't really matter because I don't have anything here. I really want to make sure that there is some information that are added. Do I have any DNS server? No, I don't. Okay, so I'm going to go down. Do I have any advertisement of OMP? Here you can see that I am redistributing OMP under OSPF. By default, this OSPF is going to be advertising to OMP, so I don't really care about that part. But I just want to make sure that OSPF is configured for that. So nothing. I'm not going to advertise anything. I can just go with, for example, connected and static. And I don't have any OMP configuration here, so let's just go with connected and static. And OSPF by default is going to be there. Going down, do I have any network for that? No, not for OMP. Okay, is there any IP before route? Nothing. IPv6 route? Nothing. Is there any service insertion? No. Service route, GRE route, IPsec route, NAT, global route lake. Nothing specific. So I'm going to click on save. And then this is created, and I'm going to assign it to my VPN. So I'm going to click on next. Okay, so what is the interface? I'm going to assign a VPN interface. The interface is GE01. I don't have it, so I'm going to create a template for that. So let's wait for this to come up. Okay. Let's go to basic information. That's going to be interface GE01, because all of my devices have interface GE0/1 assigned to VPN 1. So the interface is going to be no shutdown. The interface name is GE0/1. And I can assign a description for that. For example, let's say that this is service VPN 1 interface. The IP address is device specific, so I'm going to go with this, and I'm going to say this is VPN 1 interface IPv4 address. That's a long name, but again, that's a good name. No DHCP helper. Nothing about the tunnel. Do we have any tunnel under that? Not really. We don't have any tunnel configuration under the interface. So no NAT, no VRRP, no ACL, no QoS, no ARP, no .1x, no advanced configuration. So that's it. So I'm going to click on save. Okay, under VPN 1, I have my OSPF configuration, and redistribute OMP, of course, is enabled. So I'm going to add OSPF to here. So click on OSPF. I'm going to click on this, and there is no OSPF template created, so I'm going to create a template for that. So I'm going to say OSPF on LAN. OSPF on LAN. So the router ID is going to be default router ID, whatever it is going to be. I'm not going to configure any distance. Redistribution, we redistributed OMP. So I'm going to click on redistribute. The protocol is going to be OMP. And the route policy, no route policy for now. So I'm going to click on add. This is exactly what I have. Do I have any policy here? No, just redistribute OMP. Okay, so going down, Maximum metric I didn't configure. There is an area 0 configuration. Area number globally is going to be 0. Area type is going to be normal, so I'm not going to change it. The interface is G01, so I'm going to add interface, and the interface is GE0/1, and no, nothing specific about this, just it, just interface name. Okay. And is there any range? I do not have any summarization, so I'm going to click on add, and this is going to be added for me. Any advanced? Do I have any default route under that? No, I don't. So I'm not going to originate anything. And in case you have some more configuration, you can just do that. Save it. And then what about the VPN interface I have added? Is there anything else that I need to add? No, not really. So I'm going to click on add. Okay, so this service VPN now is configured with OSPF and VPN interface. You can see this is on the sub templates. Going down, is there any additional templates that I have? As a matter of fact, I don't. So this is the template that I have created. So I just click on create. Okay, if you just check feature templates, you can see that there are a bunch of features that we just created. These are all reusable, and I try to have a good naming convention for that, so that later I can just see this and understand what it is used for. Okay, let's go back to device template. Next step is going to be applying this template to the device. So we just want to make sure that all the configuration we have done is specifically correct without any problem. I need to click on this ellipse here, and I'm going to say attach devices. And because we have created this for VHCloud, all the serial numbers that we have for VHCloud is going to appear here. Now you would say that some of these are not deployed. We just have the serial numbers. Yes, we do. But we can assign them to these serial numbers, so that when later we assign the serial number a token to a specific VHCloud, all the configuration that we have done is going to be applied to that automatically. That is a good point. But right now I'm not going to do that. What I need to do is to just select this one. This one doesn't have a serial number because this is onboarded, so its name is here. I'm going to select this one. vBond is another VH that appears here, but we are not going to do anything about that. I'm going to assign this to the right, and I'm going to click on attach. Now comes the most important part. This is going to ask us some information that are device specific. Now you can enter the information right here, but it is easier to select edit device template from this ellipse, because that's going to open a box and you can really see what you have selected. Okay, so what is the VPN 1 interface IP address? I have assigned 172.16.21.1. This is for VH site 2, as a matter of fact. So WAN site I have 100.121/24. What is the host name? This is the host name, VH site 2. And you can see that some of the information are up there, and it asks whether we want to change it or not. And site ID, of course, is site ID 2. Okay, so we just entered enough information. In case we had more device specific information we would need to enter all of them. So I'm going to click on update. Okay, now comes the next part. Click on next, and this is the device. We could have multiple, of course, but because we are just applying to one, you can see it says VH site 2, and this is the system IP 1121. Select it, and the configuration is going to appear here, but most important, it says fail to create template preview, fail to fetch a configuration for device. That's okay. Let's go to config diff. And I'm going to go, let's see, is there any refresh button here or not? There is none. So let's go back. And then now click on next one more time to see if we can receive the information. Here it says I failed to create template preview, failed to fetch configuration to device. So there would be a problem for reaching to the device. And let's see if we can get to anything. So I'm going to say Cisco 123, and I'm going to try to ping 100.111. That is reachable. 2 is reachable. 3 is reachable. This means that we have reachability. And what might the problem be? Because we are trying to just receive the information from the device. So I'm going to keep this here. I'm going to go, let me try it one more time, and then if it doesn't work, I'm going to so almost every information is there. So I'm going to go one more time to see whether I can retrieve the information. Otherwise, I'm going to check the health of the device. If I go to dashboard and main dashboard, the device is available. You can see that it says the device is reachable without any problem. And I'm going to go to configuration devices. On the devices, I'm going to select the state, and this is the device. And for this device, if I go to right, VH-Site2 says it is in sync. So what would the problem be? So we are going to just refresh the list to see that whether this in sync is something that is really in sync. Okay, seems good. And so what I need to do again to go back is to go back to the template. And then try to do it one more time. So going to attach to devices, VH-Site2, add to this, attach it, select this. Okay, IPv4 address is going to be 172.16.21.1. This is going to be 100.121. Host name is VH-Site2. System IP is 1121. Site ID is 2. Update and try it again. If it doesn't work, then I'm going to just... Okay, so I need to just reboot the device. So I'm going to wait for this in the next video. I'm going to show you what is going to happen to attachment.